Welcome to my first Scratch programming lesson. We're going to be using this website, scratch.mit.edu. And the first thing you need to do is go to that website and sign up, and you'll get a username which you will pick, and you will sign up, and you'll get a password, and you'll be able to log in and create programs. So the first thing we do is we say create. And you'll see there are different parts of the programming screen. Scratch is based on blocks that are sort of like Lego blocks, and you can drag the blocks onto the screen and connect them. And then when you press them and you click it, it runs the program. So if you don't want these blocks, you put your left mouse on the block, hold your left mouse key, and drag it back. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint a background. So you click on this little picture icon on the bottom right part of your screen. You click the paintbrush and you'll create a background. Now you'll convert to bitmap by pressing this button. You'll pick a color and there are these three slider bars. And if you move them back and forth, you can adjust the color. You can make it brighter or darker and choose different shades of a color. So I want the color of grass. And if you ever want to choose this color again, you would write down these three numbers, 35, 73, and 93. And if I click off the slider bar, it disappears. And if I click on the paintbrush and I hold it down, I can draw a line across. Now I click on the paint can and I paint the bottom part of the screen. Now I go back to the slider bar for the fill button and I want to make the sky. So I choose three colors, three numbers to get a color of a sky, 52, 37, 93. I click on the paint can again and I color the sky. And finally, I want to make a sun, so I'm going to pick sun is hard to get. All right, let's choose that. Now I click on the circle and I put my mouse down and I draw a sun. And now I'm going to go back up to the code portion of the project. And when I created a project, it gave it the name Untitled. So I'm going to change the name of my project to Two Dogs Part 1. And then I go to the File button and I say Save Now. Now this little animal in the middle of the screen is called the sprite. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Costumes and I'm going to go down to the bottom, click on the little picture of the face of a cat, choose a costume, and then I can click on Animals. Okay, So there are two dog costumes I want. I want dog 2-A, and I go back and do the same thing again, and I click on dog 2B. You notice that the dog is now pointing down. So let's go to the code block, and I'll click on code. And then the first thing I'm going to do is go to events, and I'm going to put the green flag block here. So whenever I hit the green flag, it's going to run all the blocks under the flag. So under motion, the first thing I want to do is uh, point the dog 90 degrees. So when I click the flag, now he's pointing here. And then I want him to be down here in the bottom of the screen, right about here. So I move the dog to where I want him to start, and I put a go-to block. You notice there are two costumes. And when I switch the costumes, his legs move, so it looks like he's walking. Also, I don't need the cat costumes anymore. So I click on the cat, click on the trash can, click on the trash can again. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the code, and I'm going to go to control, and I'm going to put a forever loop. And then I go to looks, and I say next costume. And after he changes the costume, I'm going to have him wait 0.1 seconds. And then I'll do a file save now. So now when I click on it, it looks like he's walking. He's walking very fast. So maybe I'll change this to 0.2 seconds. That's a little better. Okay, when I click the stop sign, he stops. So the next thing I'm going to do is every time he takes a step, he's going to move 10 steps. So now if I click on this, it looks like he's walking. Okay. But he doesn't go off the edge. So I click on stop, and I put my mouse on his tail or his foot. And I bring him back. Now, the dog's position is described by two variables. There's something called x, and when x is minus 240, he's on the left. When x is plus 240, he's all the way on the right. And when x is 0, he's in the middle. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to control, and I'm going to put an if block, and I'm going to say if, and I'm going to go to the control section. This little pointy thing means greater than. So if something is bigger than 50, so it points from the bigger to the smaller. I'm going to go back to the motion tab, and I'm going to say if X position is greater than 220, and I'm going to have him turn around and go the other direction. So I'm going to have him turn by 180 degrees. Let's try that. Okay, except he turned upside down. To stop him from going upside down when he turns around, I'm going to put this block set rotation style to left, right. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to say if um, go to my operators. And now I'm going to say if X position is less than 220 minus 220, and I'm going to also have him turn around. And it doesn't matter which way he turns. When he turns 180 degrees, he can turn to the left, he can turn to the right. Now, if I do a file, save now, and then I go full screen and click the green flag, I should have him walking back and forth. All right, now if I want to get out of the full screen, I hit this little square with the arrows pointing in. And I would say your next step is to look what I did, pause the video, and make sure you've got the code that I have in your program. Okay, so you can restart the video now, and I'm going to go on to the next step. I want the dog to bark when he gets to each side. So there are sounds, and if we go here, yeah, we have to go all the way down. So you'll see there's a speaker symbol, and if I click on the speaker symbol and I say choose a sound, and then I'll click on animals. So if you click on the little purple button, you can test the sound. So now I click on the speaker button, I bring in the sound. Now I go back to the code, and when he gets to the right side, the 220 side, I'm going to click on the sound button. And these colors are called palettes because the painter has a palette with little dabs of different colors of paint. I'm going to say start sound dog 1, and then when he gets to the other side, I'm going to say play sound dog 1. I'm going to have him wait oh, 0.3 seconds, and then I'm going to have him start sound dog 1. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to now go to File. I'm going to save now, go to full screen. Okay, you see what happened? When he got to this side, the right side, he barked once. When he got to the left side, he barked twice. So you should have already gotten the top portion. And now I'll pause it and let you copy the code and make your code look like this with the sounds. I'm going to do one more thing and then I'm going to stop it and we'll go on to the next lesson in the next video. I'm going to add a sprite, another sprite. So I click on the cat costume, the cat face. This is choose a sprite. And I'm going to choose the rock sprite. Okay. I'm going to want to make the rock bigger, so I'm going to pick a larger number, like 190. Okay. All right. I want the dog to be in front of the rock. This dog is going to be in front of the rock. In order to do that, I go back to the sprite 1, and I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to name the sprite 1 Blue Dog. And then I go to the looks palette, and I'm going to move this box says go to the front layer. The front layer means the dog is going to be in front of everything else. Now when I click it, all right. Except I'm going to hit the stop button and I'm going to move the rock up a little bit. That looks better. Now he's walking in front of the rock. And he goes in front of the rock the other way. And he should bark twice when he gets to this size. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video now. Just make sure you can see the code for the dog. And then I'm going to continue it in a new lesson. So this is the code for the dog. So you can pause it here. Make sure your code is like my code. And then you start it and I'll move it down to the bottom. And again, make sure your code looks like mine. And I'll see you in the next lesson.